welcome to my post-Christmas cozy yoga flow designed to help stimulate digestion and just get you moving again after a few days sat on the sofa and enjoying some much needed festivity and family time. This yoga flow is going to have lots of things like twists and just slow movements, really moving with the breath and taking your time to go between postures rather than going from pace to pace. So it should be quite good if you're just getting back into a little bit of movement, maybe pre or post Boxing Day walk. But I hope you enjoy the flow, and as always, I will see you on the mat. So start off in a comfortable seated position, and we're just going to begin with kind of seated cat and cow motion. So pop your hands onto your knees, and when you inhale, draw the chest through. Almost imagine you can pull the chest through by pressing the hands onto the knees, lifting up. Maybe the gaze lifts up slightly. And then when you exhale, press away, round through the shoulders. Let the chin drop to the chest and create a really nice arched, rounded shape. Inhale, drawing up through, maybe letting the shoulder blades drop down, even squeeze together. Exhale, rounding through. A few more rounds of those. So inhaling again. Thinking about lengthening, lifting, creating openness in that front part of the body as you bend the upper spine. Exhale, rounding back away. Maybe even drawing the navel in towards the spine. Inhaling and exhaling. And then one more of each. A final inhale to ripple and roll up. And then exhale, round away. Come back into a neutral spine on your next inhale. And then from here, we'll just get a little bit of mobility going just by rounding through, rolling through the body. Again, move with your breath. So it's the exhale to move down as you round through, and inhale as you roll up and create space. Just going with whatever range of motion is good for you, whether that's a big or a small circle. Feeling your way in. Exhaling down. Letting the shoulders get involved if that feels good. Inhaling. And exhale. Then reverse the direction. So back around the other way. So for me, I'm now going anti-clockwise. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. You might even notice you get a little bit of a stretch through the sort of outer hip area as you fold, roll around. Depends on your body. One more full circle, so big inhale up, rounding back down. And then inhale back up to centre, just finding that neutral spine once again, getting a little bit of length. Inhaling, sweeping the arms up. And then as you exhale, twist around towards the right, so the left hand drops over onto the right knee, the right hand comes behind, inhaling to lift. Exhaling, twisting a little bit deeper. You can use your hand to facilitate that stretch. Inhaling, exhaling. We'll just breathe through one cycle of breath here. One more. Inhaling. Maybe the gaze turns back on that exhale. Inhale all the way back around center. Reach the arms back up again. Exhaling, twisting once more. Lengthening up, twisting deep. And just check in with your backhand, just make sure you're not leaning all the way back, so you're coming into just kind of propped up position. Try and keep that backhand quite close to the bottom so you can keep the spine upright. Nice and long and lengthened as you twist. And then inhale all the way back around, take a big stretch up once again. Exhaling all the way back down. Come over onto your all fours position. Nice little hip hop there from me. Give yourself a moment to just feel your way in. It might feel nice to come back into those cat and cow motions with a full all fours position, rounding through, drawing up and back to a neutral spine. Then from here we'll come into an all fours twist. So sweep the right arm up on the inhale. And as you exhale, post the arm through to twist. Bringing the right shoulder down onto the ground if it can reach, and the right ear as well. If you find it's really tricky to get the shoulder and the head down, you might have just moved backwards, so you might have reached up and exhaled here, and there's not really much room for the shoulder to drop down. So make sure the hips are still over the knees, plenty of room to drop down. Left hand can stay where it is, can snake forwards, or it can reach all the way up, back, and rest sort of around the right hip area where it naturally falls. Your choice, whatever feels better on the neck. And then if the hand did move, bring it back in line with the face. Press that left hand into the ground so you can unravel. Inhale, back up. Exhale, back to your all fours. If the hand shifted, just setting them back down underneath the shoulders again. And inhaling, exhaling, left side. So left shoulder and ear onto the ground, choosing whether you want to have that reaching out or that wrapping around with the right hand this time, your choice. Breathing through. And then right hand comes back, press into the ground, unravel, reach up, inhale, exhale to reset. Just feeling your way in once again. And then from here, make sure you've got a little bit of room back on the mat so you're not all the way far forwards. And then from here, start to walk the hands forwards, keeping the gaze in front of the mat. So in my case, I'm looking towards my Christmas tree. And just check in that your hips aren't trying to move forwards over the knees as you fold. Try and keep the hips exactly where they are. So it's just the hands that are moving as you come into a puppy pose. Looking forwards here. A little bit of a stretch through the shoulders. If you find that the chest is almost on the ground or the chin is almost on the ground, then maybe move the hips forwards a little bit. In that case, you can rest onto the ground. Depends what feels good for you. And then inhale, walking the hands all the way back up. Just come down onto the heels, and you'll be grabbing onto the heels of the hands for this next part of the pose, which is rabbit. So inhaling to lengthen here. Exhale. Start to round forwards, bit by bit by bit by bit. There's a bit of a space between the head and the knees, and then you let the crown of the head drop down onto the ground. So making sure you've really got that flat bit of the head and not the forehead. This is where the hands grabbing onto the heels becomes important, because as you lift the hips into the air, you'll get a bit of a stretch through the shoulders. Should hopefully feel quite nice. Breathing through the nose. And unraveling nice and soft. Reach the arms out for a child's pose, just for a breath or two. Let the rib cage expand on that inhale, full on the exhale. And then coming all the way back forwards onto your all fours. And then from here, get the feet ready to be free, so you'll be pivoting on the knees here. Exhale to swing the feet around towards the right, and you'll look towards the feet. Bit of a stretch through the side of the body here. Inhale back to neutral. Exhale into your twist. Feeling that. Inhaling, we'll do that once more each side. Exhaling, twist. Inhaling back to center and exhaling. Back into your neutral all fours position. Walk the hands slightly forwards. Tuck the toes. And then find your way back up for a downward dog. Walking out one heel at a time, one leg at a time, easing your way into that pose. Keep pressing the ground away so you're not rounding forwards. Keep pressing those fingertips in to take the pressure off the heels of the hands. Coming into stillness whenever you feel ready. Reaching the hips up and high, drawing the stomach in. Take a breath here. And then bring the right foot foot through in between the hands. If it doesn't get all the way there, maybe it stops halfway, just helping it through that last bit, and drop the back knee down onto the ground. I'm on a carpet, so my knee's nicely protected and cushioned, but if you need a bit of extra padding, you can always tuck the side of the mat under, so there's a little bit more support there. Inhaling to come up. Just breathe through a nice low lunge stretch here. And then take the left hand down slightly wide, and you can even make use of your brick here if you've got one, or a book. So you've got something to rest that left hand on, and then sweeping up into a twist. So finding that twisting action here, and you can either stay here letting the hips sink down nice and heavy, or if you want, you can tuck the back toes under. And then inhale up into a runner's lunge twist. So you've got this, still got this sweeping movement. Just try and think about drawing that left hip back, squeezing, sorry, the right hip back, squeezing the left hip forwards. And then exhale down. Both hands back down to the ground. Have a moment just to work through the hip, just bending backwards and forwards into that back heel. Maybe having a little wriggle around the hips. And then we'll come up straight up into crescent lunge. You might just need to adjust that back foot so it's firmly planted on the ground with the heel in the air. And then inhale to sweep the arms all the way up. Making sure you can still see the big toes. You want that knee to be over the ankle, not shooting forwards. Reaching high here. And when you exhale, you'll scissor the hands, squeeze the inner thighs together and come into a twist. You might even look towards your backhand. So breathe here. Imagining someone was reaching the hands apart and away from one another. Keep squeezing the upper thigh together. Keep drawing that right hip back. And then inhale. Little wobble there. Reaching the hands up. Exhale, hands frame the foot. Step that right foot all the way back to your plank. And then two options here. Either you take a child's pose or you exhale, lowering, maybe knees down for this first one. Chest and hips down to the ground. Inhale, take a soft, low cobra. Keep the shoulders away from the ears. And then exhale, downward dog. So this is a bit more of a relaxing practice, or you have the option to make it a slower practice if you want. So you can always choose to skip those vinyasas if you want to keep this as a slow twisting practice rather than a more powerful one. Your choice though. And then from here, left leg comes through in between the hands, so going onto the opposite side this time. Back leg dropping down. Inhale. Take a pause, take a breath in your low lunge, let the hips sink forwards. And if you're feeling any pinching sensation, then just backing off slightly. No need to go to your full range of motion here, or force it if you've already reached your full range. And then right hand down to the ground. Again, option to use your brick if you wish. Twisting up. Breathing through here. And then if you wish, tucking the back toes under, lifting that back knee up, twisting here. So you might start off with the hips really pressing out to that left side, squeezing them into the midline by drawing that left hip back, right hip forwards. Draw the stomach in so you've got a little bit more room to twist. Maybe you look up to the ceiling. Maybe the ground feels like a little bit of a firmer place to be looking at. Your choice. Exhale. Hands back down onto the ground. Readjusting the stance if you need. And then inhale. Reaching up. Crescent lunge. Pressing that back heel away. You might need to pop a little bit of a bend into the back leg if that helps you to keep the tailbone tucked under. Reaching the hands high. Exhale, twisting. Think about twisting from the hips. You're starting the movement at the very bottom of the torso rather than halfway up the ribs. Lots of room to twist. Squeezing in the thighs together, drawing left hip back. Reaching the arms apart, same as before. Maybe the gaze looks over the back arm. Inhaling back to center. And exhaling. Hands frame the foot. Your choice once again, either child's pose or take your flow. Maybe full chaturanga this time. So long as the hips don't have to go all the way down to the ground before the chest if the knees are off. Your choice of back bend. I'm going for an upward dog here, keeping the elbows soft and shoulders away from the ears. Exhale, downward dog. Breathing through again, maybe you walk it out. Resettling in. And then you might find it helpful just to walk the hands a little bit closer here. So you can reach the right hand and grab it around either the calf or more towards the ankle on the left side. Wherever it tends to grab is good. Keep pressing into the fingertips of the left side, keeping that left arm strong. Maybe you look through the left armpit as you twist. And then popping that hand back down, realigning. And then left side, so reaching that left arm through, trying to draw the torso through the arms. And unraveling. And then walk the hands back towards the feet, bending the legs when you need or keeping them straight if you can. Turn the toes out. And slowly exhale into a malasana, a low garland pose or squat. If there's room, bring the hands, press into the inner thigh and lift the chest. If you need to, you might need to come a little bit higher up or even lift the heels off the ground. But make sure those knees aren't collapsing inwards. You want to be open here. Great pose for digestion here. So take a moment to breathe through. Get a little bit of a hip opener in as well, which is quite nice after lots of sitting around. Letting the hips relax as you slowly sink into this pose, softening on the exhale. Keep lifting that chest. And then right hand will come down. Keep it snuggled in so there's contact with the arm and inner thigh. And then reach the left arm up, keep pressing those knees out. Coming into a twist. Maybe you look towards the ceiling, maybe it's a lower motion. Whatever feels good for you, make sure those knees don't collapse in whilst you're not pressing into it, particularly the left side. And exhale, left hand down, refinding that connection with the thigh. And inhale to sweep the right arm. Maybe you keep the head steady, maybe you turn. Finding that twist. Exhale to take the hands back down. Slowly start to straighten the legs. Turning the toes in. Back to hip distance apart, which for reference is about 2 fist widths. And bending the knees if you need. Walk the hands out slow, slow, slow. All the way into your plank posture. So shoulders over the wrists, bottom isn't sagging or stuck up in the air. And then exhale, find that downward dog. Drop the knees down onto the ground, exhaling. Cross the ankles and slowly walk your way back and roll over into seated, or if that feels uncomfortable you can always swing the legs out to the side and having a little bit of a shake out, maybe rolling the thighs out of the way, should be comfortably sat. And then from here, give the right leg a hug into the chest, little rock from side to side, releasing off any hard tissue or tension or just any little knots and niggles around the hip joint. Dropping the right foot down, let the knee come out to the side. Doesn't matter if it's not on the ground, if it does feel really uncomfortable, you can put a brick or a book or anything else you have to hand a cushion underneath it. but sometimes it's nice just to let gravity have it hovering out. The left foot flexes up to the sky. Just check you haven't twisted sideways by lifting the hands up, dropping the hips back down. Inhaling here, and then exhaling into Janu Sirsasana, forward fold. So head stays level, think chest going towards the toes. So you're keeping that spine straight and long. So the head's neither dropping down nor craning all the way up, letting it kind of be just relaxed and level, whatever that looks like for you. Hands can be either on the leg or on the hands, just gently drawing yourself a little bit deeper on the exhale, so long as that feels okay, you're not yanking yourself deeper. Keeping the left foot flexed is the easiest way to get a bit more of a stretch in, is just by flexing the toes. And then drawing up nice and slow, back to an upright spine. Give the left leg a little bit of a helping hand to come in. Inhale here, and exhale, take the right hand behind you, sweep the left arm up, and when you exhale, either the hand or the elbow will cross over the knee, and you'll come into a twist. Breathing through here, so just to show you from front on, looking here, and twisting. And just like in that first twist you did at the start of the class, making sure you've not got your back hand really far back. You want it quite close to the bottom, or you can even have it propped up, if that feels better for you. Anything that allows the spine to be straight and long when you twist. Coming all the way back to center, extending the right leg out, and then hugging the left knee in, going for that little bit of a rocking rolling motion, whatever feels nice for you. And then left foot down this time, doing that little bit of a lift up again if you need. Foot drops out to the side, knee drops out to the side, sorry. Inhaling to lengthen up. And then exhale, folding down. Chest reaching towards the toes as before. If its stretches are quite strong for you, you can use your inhales to back out. Or if you want to go deeper, maybe use those exhales to go a little bit deeper. Your choice, your practice. That right foot keeps flexing strong. And then inhaling all the way back up, all the way upright. Left leg draws in, and ready for that twist on the other side. Left arm sweeps behind, inhaling to reach up high. Exhale, hand or elbow twist. Think about pressing, lifting that chest through rather than rounding down. Maybe that gaze goes backwards. And trying to keep the breath slow and deep. You've got a little bit less room here, but still trying to deepen the breath as much as is realistic for you. Coming all the way back and extending the foot out, a little bit of a shake out. So we're moving quite slowly and breathing quite slowly here, just because that helps you with the digestion phase, gets you into that pathway in the body. So just really taking your time with this practice. And then from here, drawing the knees in, rolling down into seated, nice and soft, checking you've got room behind you. And if you've got a hairband, you might just need to loosen it off slightly so you can relax the head fully down onto the ground. From here, we're going to be going towards a supported bridge. So if you don't have a brick, feel free to improvise with whatever feels best for you, whether that is the book. If you're going for a book, get a bigger book so you've got lots of support underneath you. So have the feet a little bit of a gap apart, and toes pointing either straight down parallel, or if you don't know where the feet are in space, then just turn them in slightly, and that way you know they're not pointing outwards, which will make the knees come open. Pop the brick underneath you, your choice of which setting. Settle down and breathe there. So if you find that you're not getting much of a stretch on the lower setting, maybe turn it up onto the middle setting. Just make sure it's under the sacrum so that last little bit of the spine where it comes into contact with the hips and the tailbone. And breathing through here, giving a little bit of space between chin and chest and avoiding turning the head sideways. We're being quite soft here, so you don't need to worry too much about whether the knees are opening all the way out to the side, but if they go a little bit crazy, then just draw them back in again. Taking your few breaths here, so really nice and supported, so hopefully not having to put too much effort into this pose. If the brick feels uncomfortable, or if the back bend is too deep, then just come out or come into a lower setting. Listening to your body if it's telling you need to back out, or just enjoying the stretch. And then pressing the elbows in just to help you lift up with a bit of support and remove the brick out of the way. Slowly lower onto the ground and just allow the spine to be neutral. It might be nice to take the feet wide and let the knees just drop in here. Giving the spine a chance to resettle back up. And then bringing the feet back. Extend both legs just for a moment. Give the toes a point, give the arms a reach up overhead, or if there's room, stretch them behind you. Nice stretch here. And then exhale, hug the right leg in. Give that knee a bit of a hug, a bit of a rock from side to side. Again, maybe take some circles, that might feel nice. And then extend the right arm out to the side. If you're a little bit close to your mantelpiece like I am, or anything else, then just cactus the arm. Try and keep that right shoulder blade into the ground even as you exhale, and take the right knee over to the left side. Feeling a nice wringing out kind of twist. If this feels too much for you, you can bend the left knee in so the twist is a bit softer. And then gaze can be towards the ceiling or crossing over to the right to extend the twist. Inhaling back upright, unraveling. Bring the hips back to center if they shifted to one side. Hug the knees into chest. And extend the right leg, hug the left knee in. Same as before, so left arm extends or cactuses out. Right hand draws the left knee over into a twist. Removing any bricks out of the way if they're a little bit too close. Breathing through. So if you notice this arm starts to try and come free, then just bring that left knee a little bit higher so it can rest down. And if you're kind of in a point where you're just constantly doing this, between the two, you can always press the knee slightly up or put that block underneath so you just feel a bit more supported. If not, let gravity do its thing. And inhaling back up to center. Knees hug into the chest. And then trying to keep the tops of the legs quite close to the torso. Start to extend the feet up to the ceiling. Take the knees wide and reach the hands up. If you can, grab the outer edges of the feet. If you can't quite get there, grab onto the ankles. Have the feet around the hands around the outer edges of the ankles. If you do reach up to the feet, you're grabbing the little toe side, not the big toe side. And then drawing the knees down towards the armpits, so wide of the rib cage. Come into a happy baby. And just notice how my feet are stacked directly over my knees with the soles of the feet pressing up towards the ceiling. I'm not letting my knees collapse in or try and bend down. Keeping bone alignment, so ankle over or under in this case, the knee. Breathing here. If this is really strong, you can always do one leg at a time. And then slowly come all the way back out. Give yourself a hug into the chest. And extending out. We're not really going to take a Shavasana today, if nothing else, because my dog's barking in the background and you probably don't want that in your recording. If you want, you can just choose for yourself to take your Shavasana now. Just pause this video or let it just run. And then if you're staying with me, curling up, finding your way to seated, rolling your way back upright. And finishing off by interlacing the hands, take a big stretch up overhead. And exhale to relax the hands down to the ground. Thanks very much for practicing with me today, and hopefully that's got you feeling a little bit better after kind of a few days spent on the sofa, maybe a little bit of digestion stimulation or just some movement to get you feeling a little bit more like yourself again. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. All my links for my website, including my new newsletter, are down below, and I definitely recommend giving this video a watch a few times over, give it a few practices, particularly for spending a lot of time indoors and sat down over the next few weeks. So thanks again, namaste.